So this is the first planting of garlic on the homestead here in fall of 2022. I'm just gonna walk you through a couple of breakdowns, teardowns of the actual garlic. As you see, the garlic itself has an outer layer of skin over it. You want to get that outer layer of skin off of it, but each individual pod also has a layer of skin. You want to keep that on there. So that is the top of each individual pod. That is going to go upwards when you plant it. And this is the bottom of the pod that will go downwards whenever you plant it. That's what all the roots and stuff will come out of. But again, whenever you break these apart, there's an outer layer of skin. Get all that off of there, all that white flaky stuff, and then you'll rock this stem back and forth several times until they break loose. You don't want to just take a knife and cut into them and all that stuff, because then you'll break the actual layers of skin on each individual pods, and then you can't necessarily plant them because then they'll just start rotting in the actual soil itself. So once you get everything off the stem, I'm going to show you what the stem, there's the stem right there. So you get everything broken off of the stem and just discard the stem. That can just go in the compost. We'll go through one more here. Again, break off the outer layer. But be very, very gentle with the actual individual pods. Yep, I muffed that one up. So we actually used that one for dinner that evening, because like I said, once you mess it up, it'll just rot in the soil. So why you plant garlic in the fall time is because it gives it the root system plenty of time throughout winter to get deep good roots in the soil, and then whenever springtime actually happens, it'll send shoots up through everything that you've done, and you'll know that your garlic's ready once the shoots start dying off, and that's actually putting all the nutrients back into your garlic, and the garlic can grow nice and big like some of these garlic heads that we had. So what I'm doing here is just making lines in the soil, getting everything prepped. I'm just kind of laying everything out where I want everything planted at. You want to plant your garlic bulbs 2 inches from the sides and 4 inches apart. I'm using my fist as a measurement tool because apparently I have big hands, and they're about 4 inches wide, so that's why I'm using that, but you can use whatever works best for you. Why you plant them 2 inches from the sides is because the top dressing that you put on after all this, you want it to be able to fall around all sides of it to keep it warm throughout the winter. So I'm planting the garlic bulbs here. You want to go about 2, maybe 3 inches down. Some people say that little stem on top, you actually want to bury that completely. Some people say that you want it to be sticking up, like, barely above the soil. Again, there's that little stem that I'm talking about. Me personally, I just went ahead and planted everything underneath the soil. Either way, it's going to get covered up with the top dressing, but and also, if you have very, very poor draining soil, you can actually throw some sand in your soil, probably like 7% sand into the soil. That'll actually help your soil to drain better, because garlic needs a very, very well draining soil in order to thrive, because if not, it'll just rot out in there. We actually have poor draining soil here, but we had really good topsoil brought in for all of our gardening. As you can tell, I didn't bury any of the cloves here just yet. I didn't cover anything back up yet because I wanted to be able to see where I planted each individual one. So just in case I hit any, knocked any out of the way, I wanted to be able to see where I planted everything. But then here in just a minute, I'll go back through and start gently covering everything up, throwing any rocks or any sticks or anything out of the way, discarding all of that. Now I'm just kind of covering everything up gently. You don't want to pack it down really, really hard. Again, once you put the top dressing over it, which what we're going to be using is wood chips. We just bought a wood chipper, been using it a whole lot on the homestead. So we had a bunch of wood chips left over from a project we were doing. So we're actually going to use the wood chips. Here, you want to do about, I believe it's probably 2 to 3 inches of wood chips on top of it, or whatever. A lot of people use straw or hay, anything just to kind of keep the moisture in there, because you might get one, you might get 2 or 3 waterings in, but because the time of year that you're planting it, the freeze could be coming. So whenever you do water it, you want to give it a very, very heavy water, because again, it might be the only time that you do get to water it. So again, nice heavy water, and then all the top dressing you put on there should hold all the moisture in for you. So that's garlic in 2022.